So what is Tesla's premium connectivity? What does it include? How much does it cost? And what's your actual options when you run out of the trial period? Should you extend it, subscribe to it, or is there any other alternatives on the market that gives you similar or the same functionality? Let's have a look. Welcome to It's Only Electric. This video is about the premium connectivity and your actual options when you run out of the trial period. I have prepared 5 different options for you, but before we look at the different options, let's just have a look at the premium connectivity and the functionality that it brings for your car, just so you understand what you will lose in functionality when your trial period ends and if it's a big deal for you or not. So let's have a closer look into what the premium connectivity actually gives you and includes. First off, it's navigation. You can still navigate with standard connectivity, but you won't be able to use the satellite view. You can only use the flat 2D view. I prefer that view because I think it gets a bit too messy with the satellite view. I like it more tidy and well structured. So not a loss for me. The second part when it comes to navigation is the traffic visualization. And as I said, it's only a visualization. So you won't be able to see high dense traffic on the map. So the red zones or yellow zones that you usually see when there's a lot of traffic in certain areas will not be available visually. But the navigation will still take the traffic information into account when navigating and reroute when needed. So it's only a matter of visualization. The biggest loss is when it comes to streaming. So you won't be able to stream any video or music services. So Spotify, Apple Music, Netflix, Twitch, YouTube, you name it, the native apps in the Tesla software won't be able to work and stream without any Wi-Fi connection or premium connectivity. So that's something you lose. And I think that's the biggest and most important part to understand. And that's where my alternatives comes into play. So stay tuned. The third part that you will miss is actually in the application, the Tesla app, and that's the live camera view when activating Sentry mode. So with the premium connectivity, you can actually, in the app, check the different angles, the different cameras live surrounding your car, but that functionality is not possible when you don't have the premium connectivity. So I just want to be honest, I have always been running premium connectivity on all my Teslas. And so this is the first time I actually don't have it. So my free trial on my Model Y Performance, I actually got 12 months of free trial, just ended last month. So I have been driving around without premium connectivity for 2 months now. And I really miss the functionality that your premium connectivity gives you. The key driver for me personally was actually the lack of using the native Spotify app, because I'm really used to use that. The whole family always uses Spotify at home. It's really convenient to have the same playlists and use the native UI. I think it works really good and flawless. I have all the functionality I need, and lack of that functionality and go back to use your phone or just listen to radio is not good enough for me. It's just felt like the car over a day or over a second got like 15 years older, and I was back to like activating Bluetooth to streaming music. That doesn't work for me. So I immediately started searching for different solutions and came up with this 5 different solutions. So let's start with solution number 1. Your first alternative is actually very simple. That's just to subscribe to the premium connectivity. So you can activate and subscribe to the premium connectivity in a couple of different ways. The first way is to do it directly on the screen here. You do it under upgrades. The other way is by opening your Tesla application and doing it that way. And you can also do it by logging into a browser to your Tesla account and activate the subscription that way. So 3 different ways of activating your Tesla subscription, and it will cost you $10, 10 euros, 100 Swedish crowns a month. I think in some countries, like in the US, you can get some kind of a rebate if you get it for a whole year at once. That was not possible here in Sweden when I checked that last time. So I could only do it in a subscription mode, so a monthly payment of 100 crowns. So if you think that's worth it, then that's the alternative for you. It's easy, it works. This is probably the easiest solution if you don't mind the cost. So let's have a look at the second solution or alternative for you, and that's actually a very simple but yet old school solution. You probably already have your phone connected to your car with Bluetooth, and one alternative is actually to stream the music from your applications over Bluetooth directly into your car's sound system. That's a very easy solution. You can't stream any videos, etc. that way, but you can listen to music from Spotify, etc. Or whatever source you want. But it's depending on how much data you actually have from your service provider. So check that before starting or streaming a lot of music. So let's move on to the third alternative, and that's hotspotting. Hotspot is a function you have on all the phones, whether you have a iPhone or Android based phone, doesn't matter. All smartphones have the hotspot functionality. So hotspot means that you activate the hotspot functionality on your phone. This is how you do it on an Android phone, and that means that your phone creates a Wi-Fi for your Tesla to connect to, like a router. And that means that your car will consume data from your mobile contract. So it's very dependent on how much data you have in your contract with your service provider. So check that first. If you have a lot of data, this will not cost you anything extra. It will consume a lot of battery from your phone though, but just put it on the wireless charger and you won't have any problems. One thing though is that you need to activate the hotspot on your phone every time you enter the car, because you don't want to have it running all day. You want to turn it off when you leave the car. And most oftenly you will probably forget it and activate it later and then try to connect your car whilst driving, etc. And that will create some unnecessary work and can be a bit stressful sometimes. But there is a solution for this, and I have actually tried a couple of different applications to automate the activation of the hotspot functionality. The easiest way I found for activating the hotspot automatically is to use automation applications. The easiest solution I found was actually Tasker. It's free. So the automation task that I created is based on the Bluetooth connection to the car. The Bluetooth connection to the car actually triggers the activation of the hotspot, and this is how it looks. It's a fairly simple solution. I would also add a task for deactivating the hotspot when leaving the car or losing the Bluetooth connection. So that way you will be able to automate both the starting activation of the hotspot and the deactivation of the hotspot. So this solution is more leaning towards power users and a bit too complicated for standard users, because using and setting up automations can be a bit complicated. Your phone can, for instance, turn off background tasks because they are consuming battery, and then it will stop working, so it can be a bit frustrating. But when I tried it, it works really good with Tasker, works almost every time, and the car connects to the Wi-Fi automatically, and everything is fine and dandy. You can use all the streaming services, etc. The fourth alternative is also a alternative for power users, I should say, and that's actually connecting a dongle. And in this case, it's actually a part from CarlinKit, and it's a Android Auto and Apple CarPlay gadget. It's very small. You just connect it to your USB port here in the front with a USB-C cable, and you can use this as a router or a hotspot instead of using your phone. It needs a SIM card though, but it doesn't consume that much data from the SIM card if you don't want to. You can use tethering over Bluetooth from your phone and use your phone's data. But if you have the possibility and a free extra card from your service provider with free data, this is a really good alternative. You can use it cleanly as a router or Wi-Fi for your car, and it will work very good for that reason. But it also adds the functionality of Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. So if you miss any applications in the Tesla, this one actually adds a lot of extra functionality. I have used it for a while. It works almost every time. I mean, 1 out of 10 times it may not connect, or you need to reboot it. Otherwise it works fairly good, I should say. And what I use it for is navigation from Waze, for instance. And I also use Google Assistant. So it gives you some extra functionalities, and if there is an application that you really want to use that's part of Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, this is a good alternative and really adds some extra flavor to your experience in the Tesla. I got this dongle for free, but if you are interested in Apple CarPlay or Android Auto for your Tesla, this may be the right option for you. You can order it from this website. I have put the link in the description. Just make sure that you order the correct version. I also have a discount code for you that gives you 18% discount on a full purchase. So just enter IOE into the discount field. IOE stands for It's Only Electric. IOE will give you 18%. Let's move on to the last and fifth alternative, and this is very similar to the fourth alternative, but instead of a CarlinKit adapter, you just go ahead and install a 5G router or 4G router. Buy it at your local tech store. You can find them everywhere. You can get them fairly cheap, under $100 depending on the version and the model you get. Works straightforward and nothing strange actually. Maybe a bit easier than installing the CarlinKit, but you don't get the Android Auto and Apple CarPlay functionality, but you still get less hassle than working with Tasker and trying to automate the hotspot on your phone. That's my alternatives to the premium connectivity, and it's very hard to tell you which one to go for, because it's dependent on your level of technical knowledge and skills. So alternative one, going for the premium connectivity subscription, is of course the absolutely easiest solution, and it works very good. It's probably the solution that will cost you the most, but give you the smallest amount of complexity and problems. So if you are a standard user that don't want to hassle with different solutions and just want it to work, but don't mind the cost and don't miss anything in the premium connectivity, go for the premium connectivity. If you are the person that really likes technology and are missing some functionality in Tesla's standard infotainment, for instance, Google Assistant, Siri, Waze, etc., then the CarlinKit dongle could be a good alternative for you. It's a bit more complicated. It doesn't work every time. As I said, sometimes you need to unplug it and plug it in again for the car to connect to it again. But I have been using it now for almost 2 months, and I think it's a solution that works good enough for me. I usually don't use Android Auto. I mostly use it as a 5G router and connect it and use the Wi-Fi to be able to use the built-in applications. Sometimes I use Google Assistant and sometimes even Waze, and that works fine. The graphics is okay. Sometimes I have had some issues with my phone when receiving calls. It works at the start, but then it somehow deactivates the headset in the car and transfers the call to the phone. So then I need to pick up the phone and talk directly to the phone. I don't know, that may be depending on my phone. I have an old phone, a Samsung Galaxy S10. Maybe I'm doing something wrong in my Bluetooth settings, I'm not sure. But still a good solution, I think, and it works good for me. So here's the full comparison between all of the 5 different alternatives, and you see here in the table the different functionalities that the different alternatives bring you. and also a breakdown of the costs. And keep in mind that the costs are estimates and is of course depending on where you live and what you can get on hold of. And a very, very important thing and factor is your mobile service provider and your contract, and depending on how much data you have available in your current contract and how much that will cost for you. For me, it didn't come with an extra cost at all because my contract includes an extra SIM card with extra data, so I have a limited amount of data in my contract. But if you need to put in a lot of money into some extra amount of data to your contract, it's probably not the right way to go. Then probably premium connectivity will be cheaper. And one thing that I didn't mention in the premium connectivity is also that it gives you a Spotify account. You can more or less say that the premium connectivity also includes a Spotify subscription. So if you see it that way, it gets very cheap. But if you already have like a Spotify family account, it's not that important. But it's still a thing to consider when looking at the different alternatives. I hope that this video did shed some light over Tesla's premium connectivity and that you find one of these alternatives good for you. So don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. It will help me to create more content like this for you guys. And as always, stay electric. Thank you for watching. Speak to you soon.